Again, thank you for joining Safe Community Call number 4. We're really excited to have our friends from Daoism Systems joining us today. So we have Arseny, Gian, and Sasha, who will be updating us on what they've been building over at Daoism Systems, including NinDAO, and then also another update from their side. And to start us off, we have Theo to update from the safe governance side. So without much further ado, let's get started. And as a reminder, these safe community calls are happening bi-weekly to update you on everything happening around the safe ecosystem. If you have any questions, please let us know in the hashtag community chat channel on Discord. And as mentioned, over to Theo, our DAO governance lead, to give us an exciting update on what's been happening over at ETHIndia. So Theo, over to you.
Hi, everybody, and thanks for the intro, Jorge. So yeah, I'll talk about SafeDAO in just a minute, and there are quite some news there. But before we get there, let's talk about ETHIndia, which happened just this weekend. And with Safe, we had a small team there, and it was quite amazing. I'm not sure if some of you were there too or followed Twitter a bit. It was at a massive scale of more than 2,000 hackers, more than 20,000 hackers had applied. And there were 450 teams, 459, I think, actually, which is just an insane scale, which you can see at the top picture. And I think 200 submissions, a bit more than that. It was really good for Safe and our mission around account abstraction, since there were 59 submissions tackling account abstraction, and 24 of them were using Safe. So that was really impressive to us. And also me and my colleagues were quite impressed by the quality of hackers. German from our team gave a presentation on what's possible to build on Safe, which received great feedback. And Lucas also spoke on a panel with Superfluid and CoinShift about our initiatives around hybrid custody. And the bounty we had for ETHIndia was a $10,000 open bounty. We split that up and allocated it to 6 projects. And if we go to this next slide, you can see a brief overview of the winning projects. Feel free to check out the slides afterwards when we publish the weekly review a few days later, and you can also find more information on our Twitter. But just to really briefly summarize them, they were really tackling a variety of issues that really can be built on top of Safe, with its modules and its transaction guards and its composability. And what really stood out to us was Banana Smart Wallet, which introduced a two-factor authentication method to use with your Safe using account abstraction, which of course, from an end-user perspective, is quite nice to have and could really play a major role when we talk about mass adoption. SafePay, another notable project that received the second prize from our side, worked on a payments platform mostly focused around periodical transactions, so recurring payments, and built quite an impressive tech stack in just a very short time. And then Safeguard, another really interesting project, provided a user interface to make use of the guards, the transaction guards that Safe provides. And Safeguard also was an ETHIndia finalist. So quite a bit congratulations to the team here again to be honored in such a way by the ETHIndia hackathon itself as well. Our third prize went to 3 other projects. One was working around ERC for 37, so also tackling account abstraction a lot and just streamlining the cross-chain aspect of it. And DigiGo took quite an end-user approach of introducing loyalty programs, which we all know from Web 2, but made them Web3 native with private credentials, self-custody of your loyalty points, DeFi yields, and some other neat features, which they also managed to hack on a really short time frame. Last but not least, Safe Batch, another great approach, making use of our batching feature that account abstraction supports in Safe. and really provides an end user friendly way to record and batch your transactions. So effectively, you could connect to their wallet solution instead of connecting to, for example, Wallet Connect. So once you connect to their solution, they will record your clicks and gather the transactions you make and allow you to make just one actual signature in the end, which saves you time and gas, they say. So all exciting projects worth checking out. We hope they'll continue working on them. And if you're also interested in working around that, we can happily introduce you to the teams. So that's just a brief overview on what happened at ETHIndia. And let's come to SafeDAO now, the governance updates, which is really mostly revolving around one issue that has been on lots of community members' minds recently, and that is the second SEP on enabling transferability, which was not accepted a few weeks ago. And ever since we voted against enabling the transferability of the SAFE token, there have been many arguments what we should do next, what should we wait for, should we vote on it immediately again, should there be some milestones in place before we vote on it again, and if so, which are they? So this discussion happened on Twitter, it happened on the forum, it also started before the vote actually ended. And there were great opinions being voiced, but more kind of in an unstructured way. And we just needed a way to align on these and have a more clear idea as a community what we're going to do next. So an idea that floated around and that I took initiative of was to have another SCP, but for the purpose of aligning on these milestones. So SCP3, as you can see it here, and it's live on the forum as of an hour ago, SCP3 is really about aligning on these milestones. It is not about itself on enabling transferability again, but it really serves as a signal to align on these milestones. And if we go to the next slide, I'll just give you a brief overview of these initially proposed milestones. And I'll really stress that these are the initially proposed milestones and the initially proposed voting options, as you can see in them in the proposal now. And that is subject to discussion, which I encourage you all to review over the next few days. So these milestones are, to begin with, the claim period has ended, which is December 27th, which most people will be aware of, and I assume will be quite uncontroversial. The second milestone is the Constitution has been ratified, which is a proposal that has been live for quite a while on the forum already. Lucas is the author, a co-founder of SAFE, and I'm in close touch with him. He expects the proposal to move on to become an SCP and to be moved to Snapshot very soon. And if that is the case, it will be voted on very soon in a similar time frame as milestone A. And that is why the first voting option on Snapshot is suggested to be milestone A and B together, because both of them are within a few weeks, and it makes sense to bundle them, in my opinion. Now, the other voting options provide a more elaborate, longer-term roadmap. So milestone C is about a governance framework that expands on our governance process, which, as you know, is quite minimal. Milestone D refers to the tokenomics and funding side of our DAO, and it requires a resource allocation framework to be ratified, most likely OBRA, which has already been discussed on the forum alongside similar proposals, which all together could make up this resource allocation framework, of course. So milestones C and D are sort of the tokenomics side and the governance side of our DAO, have maturity in that sense. And that is why the second voting option is A, B, C, and D. And then the third voting option, the final one, also includes milestone E, which refers to the token utility. You could also call it a revenue mechanism or value capture mechanism, whatever that discussion entails, but really finding community alignment around SAFE as a token and its utility, which is also something that lots of people brought up in these previous comments. So these are the three suggested combinations of milestones, of course, alongside make no changes and abstain. And make no changes, which is an option we always have, of course, means let's not accept this proposal. And that means let's have no milestone at all aligned on. So if even option 1 is something you cannot identify with, that would be an option to consider. But more importantly, let's have a discussion on the forum, which are the most meaningful options. And if we go one slide back again briefly about next steps, in order to make sense of this proposal before December 27th, which is when the first milestone happens, we should align on a final draft by mid-December, ideally December 11th. So my ask at this point is really reflect on the proposal, visit the forum over the next few days, see if you find an acceptable option in the voting options, and if not, suggest changes so that we can finalize the proposal by this weekend, leave it unchanged for the required period of time on discourse, and then move it to snapshot so we can vote. The snapshot vote ends around Christmas. That is all for now. I'll talk to you all in the forum. And last but not least, time is flying. The claiming period for the SAFE token is ending. Make sure you have claimed before December 27th. And that has also been documented elsewhere. Ping us if you need any more context. That will be all from the SafeDAO side. Back to Jorge.
Awesome. Thanks, Theo, and thanks for sharing the update from ETHIndia especially. We'll be sharing a thread with links to the DevFolio project so that you can check out what some of the hacker teams built. But yeah, really exciting stuff from SafeDAO and ETHIndia as well. Thank you. And last but not least for today's call, as I mentioned, we're really excited to feature the Daoism Systems team. So I'd like to hand it over to anyone, Gian, Sasha, Arseny, whoever wants to jump in. Feel free to guide me and I will screen share on your behalf. But yeah, excited to have you here. Please introduce yourselves and take it away.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess I'll just briefly introduce, I'm the communications lead of Daoism Systems and I'm here with Arseny. And I'm going to be speaking more about NinDAO, our Telegram bot, and then later pass on to Arseny, who will be talking about our proposal. And so just to quickly talk a little bit about, very briefly about what we do at Daoism Systems is we're a development firm that specializes in custom DAO and DeFi solutions. So we design and implement decentralized governance, infrastructure, and tooling for DAOs. And as you can see, DAOs are quite central to our bread and butter. And I think because of that, we have to reflect a bit about what exactly it is we're building, but not to go too deep into that. And this will link into with what we're building with NinDAO, is that we think that DAOs can kind of, what we've seen in this space is not a limitation, but rather a starting point for what DAOs can be. And I personally think that they could be a lot, very, very diverse in what they could do, because they are forms of collective action or community, and they are not really limited in size or scale necessarily. But with that being said, the usability is really, still quite a bit of a problem. So we built a Telegram bot that turns your group chat into a DAO, which is NinDAO. And NinDAO is kind of built upon this idea that we believe shared ownership it should be an accessible experience. And it does this by kind of leveraging the familiarity of Telegram, the Telegram chat, and it opens an interface within the chat so that users are able to make transactions through it from the safe multisig. So yeah, for what we have now is basically just our MVP is a sign-in with MetaMask using the public wallet addresses, basic on-chain governance functions such as transferring funds, adding and removing members, and bot messages for proposal updates. And where we are right now, we are still in the alpha stage of development, but we are looking for people to test our product. And actually, we have prepared here a demo video that will kind of show, yeah.
Hop over to the video really quick. All right, let me know if you can see my screen. Is that up?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's just like the chat, and then you just add the bot. The message pops up, and then when you hit participate in DAO, it will take you to MetaMask to sign in. Connect. And then this is the pending initialization. And if you're the group chat owner, you would be able to initialize that. But then once everyone has decided to participate, who will be participating, then the chat owner will convert it into a DAO. But then after which the chat owner will have the same screen as all the other members.
Here it's the multi-sig creation page. So basically now we turn this group chat into a DAO. We create a new multi-sig for it with the members that we selected from the group. And yeah, then the the bot says, hey, group chat has been, the DAO has been initialized. So now you can create proposals within the group chat to add, remove members, transfer funds, and do all those things that you can do with Safe, but on an alternative interface, which is within Telegram itself. The cool thing about it, and you can see it here, that we don't really store any private keys on our side. Everything is stored in the MetaMask. Here the video is actually transferring funds to the DAO, so you can create a proposal of transferring Venus tokens. I guess it's some sort of a fancy new token that you can use within Telegram. Yeah, passing it over to Jin.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's we didn't actually, that's, which phase is this exactly?
We are creating a proposal here for
yeah.
the transfer of funds, and then you can see a notification within a group, and you can confirm or reject the proposal. It's all very familiar to everyone who's using Safe, familiar flow. Yeah, that was the short.
That was
video.
a quick demo video. But that's actually it from my side. Yeah.
That's super
yeah,
cool.
Everyone is very welcome to check it out on Girly. It's on. You can just add it to the NinDAO bot. You just add it to the group, and you can start playing with it. And please join the community and write the feedback. We are really looking for feedback. We are still working on stabilizing the version, and we are looking forward for the release, which will happen soon. But yeah, now there is a bot to play around with.
Yeah, the community channel is in the website, and maybe it would be great if people could try it out and give us some feedback. It'd be really valuable. So, but that's it for NinDAO, actually. Yeah. Or
I think
go
this
ahead.
is super cool. I'm curious what types of users you're looking for feedback from. If we're asking the Safe community to jump in, what types of users would be most interesting to you all?
Yeah, so I mean, we created this tool for first of all for ourselves, because I've been part of this smaller sub DAOs around the space, and it was always very cumbersome and hard to get people to sign the message and execute this transaction. And I was thinking, how can we make it easier? How can we make DAO governance and multi-sig governance simpler. And that was the solution that we came up with actually last year on the hackathon at ETH Lisbon. So people, asking your question, people who are we looking for are anyone who's interested in NinDAO and want to check out this new way of interacting with Safe. It's UX experiment in a way, which is also a technological innovation in a sense. So yeah, we're really looking to gather feedback and see how we can improve the flow and what features maybe are lacking.
That's great. Yeah, and I think bringing the functionality into the space where conversations and coordination is already happening is really smart. So I think there's a lot of applications that this could expand into. So yeah, nice work. We actually have a question in the chat. Is it planned to make the project open source?
Yeah, it is planned to make it open source. We were working in stealth mode so far, but I believe somewhere around the release we are going to open source the code.
Great, cool. And yeah, if anybody in the audience has more questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A at the bottom panel. Go ahead, Arseny.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I believe we have just one last announcement from Daoism Systems. It's that we published an article which is called Summoning a Decentralized Safe Registry. And that's an idea that we came up with during our work on DAOs and Safe and NinDAO, which is a more decentralized and Web3 friendly way to receive, bundle signatures on Safe and execute Safe transactions, bypassing centralized Safe API. It's an architectural proposal which is supposed to start a discussion around this idea. So please go to Daoism Systems Twitter or to our mirror directly, check out the proposal. Our team has been working hard on it for like around a month or so. We also have a POC that we are going to share later on within Safe community. And yeah, feedback is very welcome. Please join our group, Telegram group. We have a Telegram group for Daoism Systems. You can find it on our website, and please join the discussion around the decentralized Safe registry. We are currently in touch with the Safe team. It seems that everyone's pretty excited, and the dialogue is flowing, which makes me really excited, because in Daoism Systems, we are very happy to build new infrastructure for DAOs, and we really believe that Safe is going to be this key infrastructure piece of the future of coordination.
Yeah, this is really cool to see. And I think the Safe team, we're excited about basically anybody helping decentralize ourselves. There shouldn't be any source of centralization or single points of failure. So more efforts to provide open infrastructure is really important. So excited to see this. And yeah, if you have any questions for the Daoism Systems team on this, feel free to comment on the Twitter thread or message them directly. And we have a couple more in the Q&A. So the first one is, what's after the Telegram integration for NinDAO? If you can answer that.
We have a lot of ideas. Obviously, Discord is on our radar, but I think for now we want to focus on just making Telegram version work really smooth and nice. We also look forward to experiment with governance. So maybe not just multi-sig signatures, but more like snapshot integration with Safe Snap module. Because the DAOs could start small as 5 members in the group chat, but then it grows to a large community like Safe DAO, for example, and then you need more complex voting mechanisms to be implemented in the tool. So we are also experimenting on that. And actually, this proposal that we are working on is a part of making Safe protocol more accessible to governance experiments around it. Yeah.
Cool. And this is kind of a follow-on question, but somebody's asking, can the bot be used to track Telegram chat and assign badges?
Well, that's not planned functionality, badges assignment, but I guess, it's possible to implement if it's a really desired feature. Yeah. Also, feel free to jump into the community chat and elaborate on the idea more deeply. We are happy to discuss it.
Cool. And I think the person just responded, will do. So hopefully they'll jump into your chat and follow up. Great. Open floor. If there are any other questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. Otherwise, any of our panelists for today have questions or follow up at this point? All right. Looks like we can wrap up on that note. But again, as I mentioned, thank you again to the Daoism Systems team for joining us. Really excited to see the progress on NinDAO, and Theo, the updates from Safe Governance and ETHIndia, I think are very timely and exciting. And it looks like you have your hand up. So yeah, go ahead. You might have a follow-up. Yeah.
Just another note on a more meta level. So as some of you may have seen in the forum, we are currently discussing the format itself of these community calls. Some community members in the forum brought up that we should have a community call that is more tailored towards governance, the DAO itself, potentially discussions in a more interactive forum than the Q&A feature in this Zoom call. So that is a discussion we're having in the forum right now. Feel free to chime in and give your feedback. There is a proposal there. Also, just ping me and Jorge directly. We could keep this call as is. We could change this call, have a more interactive format. We could also have a separate call specific on governance discussions. So there are many options here to consider. Lots of best practices from other DAOs to follow. And I encourage you, if you have any thoughts on that, get in touch with me and on the forum, and expect some updates on that, well, hopefully this year. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, yeah, thanks to everybody again, and hope you all have a good rest of your week. Thanks for joining us for Safe Community Call number 4.